Hello everyone, and here's Marco again for the Sporting Memories answers. We're looking today at royalty and sport. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's questions on the variety of royal questions, lords, etc. I'm going to go through the answers now as I usually do and try and give you a little bit of extra where I can. So here we go. Question number one. We said, which royal golf course did Tony Jacklin win the British Open in 1969? So there are a variety of golf courses, aren't there, with the word royal in there, but the one we were looking for is the famous Royal Lytham and St Anne's. Royal Lytham and St Anne's in Lancashire. That was the answer, where Tony Jacklin won. It was founded in 1886. It's hosted 11 Opens, so it's a very well used course, and also 2 Ryder Cups have taken place there over the years as well. So Royal Lytham and St Anne's in Lancashire, number one. Number two, who is the first and only English footballer to be knighted while he was still playing football? The answer we were looking there was, of course, the famous Sir Stanley Matthews. So Stanley Matthews, many of you will remember him originally as a Stoke City player, where he played till 1949, and then he was transferred to Blackpool. And it was at Blackpool where he famously won the FA Cup, which was known as the Matthews Cup final. And he still played football up until the age professional football up until the age of 50, and he was still playing international football for England well into his 40s. I suspect we won't see the likes of that again in the Premier League. I can't see any of those players playing football when they're nearly 50 years of age. But a good one in terms of carrying on and staying fit, because he was obviously match fit until his 50s. So that's number two, so Stanley Matthews. Number three, Princess Anne, this one. What Olympic Games did Princess Anne compete in eventing? And it was 1976, and the host place for that was, of course, Montreal in Canada. So it's 1976, Montreal. She didn't win a medal, but obviously she's an Olympian. The first royal as such to be an Olympian, and she's had big involvement since then in the Olympic Games, particularly with Lord Coe bringing London 2012 bid into fruition. So Princess Anne, 1976 Montreal was the answer for that, number three. Number four, which football club has got the nickname the Posh? Who is that? Well, I'm sure a few of you knew straight away that was Peterborough United, who have the nickname the Posh. They play in League One, founded in 1934. The interesting bit here is how in 2002, Victoria Beckham, who was originally known as Posh Spice, do you remember the Spice Girls? Yeah. She filed a claim with the UK Patent Office claiming that the phrase posh was linked to her and her only, and that's how she was known worldwide. So it could only be used in reference to herself and not Peterborough United. But she failed in her claim, so Peterborough can continue to be called the Posh. And it did make the press a lot in the early 2000s, and obviously gave Peterborough a lot of good publicity. That's number four. Number five. Can you remember which Duchess handed out the trophies to the Wimbledon winners from 1969 to 2001? We were looking for the Duchess of Kent. That's right, the Duchess of Kent. Many of us have grown up watching her hand out trophies to the women's finalists and the men's finalists. That one year where she consoled, do you remember the crying, that the lady who cried? Jana Novotná, I think it was, and yeah, some real good moments. So the Duchess of Kent was the answer for the Wimbledon trophy. Number 6. Which royal is currently president of the Football Association? Quite a nice easy one for you here. And it is, of course, Prince William, Duke of Cambridge. I believe he's an Aston Villa fan, isn't he? And done a lot of good work already on mental health awareness in sport, in football, raising the profile of that, raising the profile of using sport to help with mental well-being. So yeah, some really good stuff there. So good president to have. So that's Prince William. Number 7. This is a bit harder, I think, this one. Princess Grace of Monaco. She was originally known as Grace Kelly. Her father was John Kelly, and he won 3 gold medals in what event? So this is going back in time, as you can imagine, quite a bit. And the event was rowing. John Kelly was a famous rower. He won 2 golds at the 1920 Olympics and a single gold at the 1924 Paris Olympic Games. If you ever head out to Philadelphia, they have a statue of him in his rowing boat. Such was his prestige and legacy in America. So that's John Kelly, the rower. Number 8, this was the one about Lord Burleigh from Stamford in Burberry House. He famously won the gold at the 28 games and the silver at the 32 games. What was his sport? Well, Lord Burleigh, otherwise known as David Burleigh when he competed, was a 400-metre hurdler. 400 metres hurdles. So he won his 1928 gold in the 400 metres hurdles, but he won his 1932 gold in the 4x400 metres. So he also appeared in the 1924 Olympic Games in Paris in the 110 metre hurdles, being eliminated in the first round. So obviously 400 metres hurdles seemed to suit him better. He was president of the British Amateur Athletic Association for 40 years. And what else can we say about him? If you ever go to Burberry House, which is good to visit, they have an exhibition on his Olympic memorabilia. You can see his gold medals. There's archive photos of him. There's his running shoes. So it's quite a nice one to go and have a look at. I mean, that's well worth seeing. What else can we say about Lord Burleigh? He was also in the film Chariots of Fire, staged as the fictional character Lord Lindsey, played by Nigel Havers. The family didn't allow the name Burleigh to be used in the film, so he was known as Lord Lindsey. And it was Lord Burleigh who famously ran round the Trinity College clock before it struck 12, but in the film Chariots of Fire, we're led to believe it was Harold Abrahams who instigated that run. So just a little bit of film history there as well. So that was number 8, 400 metres hurdles. Number 9, moving on. What sport do you most closely associate with Prince Charles? And that's the sport of polo. He was always getting injured, wasn't he? I remember a lot, but I think he was quite successful. The only sport that has to be played right-handed for safety reasons, as you can imagine. This is played at quite high speed. These are horses you're riding here, and very easy to get injured, of course. So it's lowering risk, lowering the risk factor if everybody plays right-handed. Number 10. Princess Anne appeared on the 200th edition of The Question of Sport. Who was her team captain on that day? I'm sure you can remember it. Emlyn Hughes. Emlyn Hughes, so they had a lot of banter. He famously put his arm round Princess Anne, which was obviously a bit of a royal no-no. Emlyn Hughes famously playing for Liverpool, known as Crazy Horse. He then spent a little bit of time at Wolverhampton Wanderers as well. And on the day of Question of Sport with Princess Anne, it was hosted by David Coleman, and the opposite team captain was Bill Beaumont, the rugby legend. So, number 10, Emlyn Hughes. Number 11, maybe a little bit harder this one. Described as Britain's most prestigious open-age flat race, held at Royal Ascot, what is it called? Well, the title we were looking for was the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Bit of a mouthful. The King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes is the answer we're looking for number 11. You may have even been to it. So that's the answer to number 11. Number 12, interesting one. Which granddaughter of the Queen won a silver medal as a member of the Great British Eventing Team at London 2012? And the answer I'm looking for is either Zara Phillips or Zara Tyndall, because that's obviously her married name, having married Mike Tyndall. She had a medal presented to her, you might remember this, by her mother, Princess Anne, and she won a silver medal for the team eventing. So team eventing, which involves dressage, cross-country and show jumping. So that was the answer to number 12, Zara Phillips or Zara Tyndall, whichever one's easier. But obviously it wasn't a one-off, because she's also won gold at the Worlds, 2 silvers as well, and European-wise 3 golds, so pretty prolific. So the first royal family member who was a medal winner at the Olympic Games. Number 13. Before she was a princess, Charlene, the wife of the current Prince Albert of Monaco, was an Olympian, but she competed in what sport? The sport we were looking for was swimming. She didn't win a medal, but she competed for South Africa in the 2000 Games, finishing 5th in the 4x100 medley relay. She was born in Zimbabwe. She competed for South Africa. She won 3 gold medals at the All Africa Games in 1999, and she won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games in 2002, competing also for South Africa. So Princess Charlene of Monaco was an Olympic swimmer. Number 14, Lord Coe. Lord Coe, otherwise known as Sebastian Coe, competed in 2 Olympic Games. He retained his Olympic title 4 years later, but in what event? So the event we were looking for was the 1500 metres. So Lord Coe won the 1500 metres gold at Moscow 1980, and he retained his title at Los Angeles 1984. He also won the silver in the 800 in Moscow 1980 and the silver in the 800 Los Angeles 84. And it was interesting at the time because his great rivalry with Steve Ovett, Ovett was predicted to win gold in the 1500, but he won gold in the 800 that year in 1980. And Coe was predicted to win the 800 gold, but he won it silver. And instead Coe won the 1500 gold. So it's almost like they swapped events, winning gold in the event that each of them was the opposite way around. So great legacy there by Sebastian Coe. Went on to become chairman of the British Olympic Association, also heavily involved in the Conservative Party over the years, and obviously a big part he had to play, as did Princess Anne, in bringing the London 2012 Games into fruition. So the answer to 14 was the 1500 metres. And finally, number 15. What is the name of the Royal Rowing event which takes place annually on the Thames and lasts for 5 days? We were looking for the Henley Royal Regatta. Sure you've all heard of that. Established in 1839. It was first known as Royal in 1851. A certain Prince Albert became its first royal patron, and ever since then every monarch has put their patronage also to the Henley Royal Regatta, hence the name Royal. So I hope you've got a few right there, and I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of background, a little bit of reminiscing there for some of the events. It might make you want to just go back now and read up a little bit, check out what I've said, and maybe find out a bit more. So hope you've enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye bye.